It's the Granny and I'm back, and today I'm gonna have a little city recap. I went to a cities this past weekend. If you're following me on Twitter or you're friends with me on Facebook, you would know how I did. I did really well. It was my first cities. It was actually like 5 minutes away, so I was like, you know what, might as well hit it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the deck I ran. If you know me, my favorite deck is any Darkrai variant. So obviously I was most comfortable with that. So I went ahead and ran Darkrai. I know it's kind of hard to see, but that's what I ran. Darkrai EX. Decided I'd go with a Hydreigon deck. So I ran a 3-1-3 line of Hydreigon, as you can see here. I did decide that, I mean, obviously it's the Dark Trance Hydreigon. You got to go with that. It's the best one, and it works out really well. So that's what I ran with that. I ran one Dragon Zweilous just because he's really good, and I like this one better, especially if you get into a point where you need energy out of the discard and you're out of dark patches. You can use Draw In, bring back some energy. Next, I got two Dark Dinos, and Dark Dino, I mean, yeah, you're setting yourself up for a donk. I might change it to just a Dragon Dino, but I didn't get donked, so I was fine. So that worked out really well. And I'm running one Dragon Dino just in case I face a Landorus deck, which I did face a few, but it wasn't too bad. Then I ran one Shaman EX. I know to you the cards are probably backwards, but that's how my computer camera is. I could probably try to flip it. That's what I'll probably do. Flip the screen so you can actually see it correctly. But yes, I did run one Shaman EX so I could Revenge Blast if he took a lot of prizes and I just took forever to set up. Now, your main attacker in this deck is going to be Darkrai. I mean, you guys have seen my Darkrai deck. This deck has not changed at all except for a few things, and I'll try to make a keynote of that. But I'm showing the Pokemon I ran this tournament because they were a little different, and it was quite challenging for myself, and I thought if I had a different Pokemon in, I probably would have won. So it was kind of weird. But yeah, I did run 3 Darkrai EX. Next, I ran... Oh, I just got an email. I wonder what it is. Next, I ran one Mewtwo. I ran one Mewtwo because Mewtwo is just... Mewtwo's powerful. It's the best card in the format, I would say, hitting with X-Ball. But I wish I would have had 2. This is the card I wish I would have had 2. And the thing was, I switched it out before the tournament so I could run Cresselia as a Mewtwo counter. Well, I ended up losing a game because I had the Cresselia. If I would have had another Mewtwo, I probably win the game. So I wish I would have ran 2 Mewtwo's instead of one Mewtwo, one Cresselia. I did run 2 Sableyes. I find it so much more consistent, and you can add a lot of cards by just running 2 Sableyes. And if you run any more, yeah, it's good, and you can start with it, but Sableye is fine with just 2 in a Darkrai deck, or Darkrai Hydreigon at least. Then I ran one Sigilyph because I knew there were a lot of Landorus, Tornadus, Mewtwo decks in my area, and Sigilyph is a great counter because they might not even run any regular attackers, and all of them are EX, and I will win the game more than likely with just Sigilyph. And it did happen. I did use Sigilyph a couple times. From my last deck, I had a Giratina in. I took the Giratina out and replaced it with a Computer Search. Computer Search is great. Gets out a lot of cards that I need. I use it a lot of times, at least once per match. I think there's one time I even used it to discard the rest of my hand that I didn't even need. I think I had like a Tool Scrapper and maybe a catcher, but I didn't need the catcher at the time. And I got a Juniper, and then I just Junipered into a new 7, so it was like a perfect hand. So it was awesome. I still have the 3 Dark Patch, just like last time. 3 Catcher, just like last time. 3 Rare Candy, just like last time. All these are just essential, and they're about what everybody else likes to run for it. So that's how I like to run mine too. 3 Max Potions. 3 is fine. You can always get them back with Sableye. Waste a turn, really. 2 Ultra Balls. It's really consistent with just 2 Ultra Balls because you have the computer search. You also have Skyla that you'll see later. So having the 2 Ultra Balls is pretty good. I like it. I have 2 level balls. Once again, 2 level balls are a perfect amount because you can get set up pretty quickly with just 2 level balls. I run. Oh, hold on. Let's use these first. Run 2 tool scrappers just in case I run into like a Garbodor deck, but I did not, so I was pretty thankful for that. And I run 2 Eviolites, which Eviolites are almost essential in a lot of decks now, except for like Landorus and maybe even Keldeo, because with Keldeo you'll run 4 Super Scoop Ups and whatnot. I did replace my 2 random receivers with 2 Skyla, and that's because I don't need the random receivers when I have Skyla. I can always just Skyla for another supporter, and by doing that, yes, I've used my supporter for the turn, but I've set myself up next turn for a new supporter, and if my opponent decides to end me while I have that supporter in hand, oh well, I needed that anyway, so that's why I wanted you to do it. Therefore, it's okay. Then my other supporter line is still just the same, as I have 2 Biancas, as you can see. I still run 3 in my deck, and it's just crucial. It almost won me a couple really close games that I really would have liked, but you'll find out that in a minute. So yeah, I also ran 4 Junipers, and then my energy line was 8 Dark Energy. So yeah, and 4 Blend Energy. So yeah, it was a pretty good tournament. I liked it. I'll go ahead and start out how my day went at the city tournament. First got there, had no idea where the place was. I mean, it's in College Station where I live, but I've been there a couple times. The first time I went, they were closed. Second time I went, they had moved locations in the same area where they were at, just to a different building. They're in like a little strip center, so it's like they moved from one side to the other side, and I didn't know that, so I didn't find them. But this day I saw somebody that I'd known through the internet, through the Top Cut stream that I knew pretty well after that, and I saw him looking for it, and I go to look for it, and I end up finding it, and then I see him again, called him over, and it was the first time we'd met, but it was nice talking to him. He's a pretty cool guy. He's probably going to stay with me for my city championship marathon in Texas, which will be pretty cool. And he's a pretty cool guy, pretty good friend. I like him. He ended up getting 12th that day. He was running a Landorus Tornadus Mewtwo deck that just tried to turn one donk you, and it was pretty good. I like his deck a lot. It just didn't match up to the level that some other decks were playing at that time, and he had a lot of bad luck with his resistance, so I don't blame him. He did really well, I think, and he got championship points anyway, so that's all that really mattered. So we find the place, we wait around for them to open. They finally open, we go in. We're the first to register our decks, which is pretty cool, I guess, because we were super early. So we get that all done, and we just sit there and we talk for a little while. And we get to my first match. They put the first pairings up, and I have no idea who I'm playing, obviously. And I go up, meet him, shake his hand, nice to meet you, all that. And I look, and he has a theme deck in hand. Yes, a theme deck. So I'm like, okay. And he tells me right off the bat, and he's like, you know what? Hey, I'm sorry, man. I have a constructed deck. That's because I showed up. I'm new to this. I'm a teacher. One of my co-workers, he started a Pokemon trading card club at the school because he saw a lot of kids liked it. And so I joined with him because, hey, I like collecting when I was younger. And I was like, dude, I understand. That's how I was. I just got back into the game last year. And he's like, yeah, so I had a lot of older cards, and I didn't know there's a format. I thought all the cards stayed kind of similar to how Magic is and Yu-Gi-Oh, but cards just get banned. I'm not sure about Magic though. I know Yu-Gi-Oh's like that. Some cards just get banned and you can't use them. And he's like, I didn't know that. And I was like, dude, that's fine. I understand. It's your first time. So we have a quick match. I steamroll him just because, like, it's a theme deck against my Darkrai deck, and I turn 2 Hydreigon and turn 2 Night Spear. So I felt bad, but after that we talked probably for another good 15 minutes about where I get my cards and stuff like that. And he was a really cool guy. I really liked him. So he was really nice. Had a good time talking to him. So after my first match, I was 1-0. Go to my second match, and I'm in the top 2 tables at this point, and I'm like, sweet, this is awesome. And I face a Landorus deck. This is scary for me because Landorus completely destroys my deck if it gets set up and I just can't do anything about it. It was a pretty close game. He ends up beating me just barely. I can't really remember any specifics about the game, but I just know it was pretty close. I do believe he catchered up my Mewtwo at one point, and I just did not expect him to have the catcher there. And it ends up catchering up my Mewtwo and knocks it out, and that Mewtwo would have won me the game, really. So he was 2-0 at that point, and I was 1-1. Come to find out, that guy ends up losing 2 matches, or he finishes the day. We had 5 rounds, so he ended up finishing the day after that match 1-2, and he missed top cut because of it. And so I was like, wow, that's insane. You beat me with that deck, and you missed top cut. My next match was really strange. I faced a Darkrai, Terrakion EX, Landorus EX, Virizion, Noble Victories, Shiny Rayquaza, and I think a Mew or something. It was completely just random and had a bunch of blend energies and whatnot. And we ended up getting down to the final turn, and I prepared to bait him. I had 3 prizes, he had 3 prizes. It was my turn. I was going to knock out something, or no. I had 2 prizes left. He had 3 prizes left. I had to put 90 somewhere with my Darkrai. So I send up a Darkrai. I have 2 Darkrai's fully powered. So I have 6 energy on the field. I have 5 energy on the field, but I have an energy in hand that I can attach next turn. And Night Spear his Terrakion for 90. He has way too much damage on the field. No matter what, I'm going to take a prize. I actually think I had 1 prize left, so I needed just one prize at some point. And he ends up pulling a Crushing Hammer. And he Crushing Hammers and flips tails. If he flips heads, he discards the energy off my bench Terrakion, and I probably lose the match, honestly. And I end up winning off a Crushing Hammers flip. So I send up my bench Darkrai, put the energy on, and just 90 to the Terrakion for the win. So it was nice. I'm 2-1 now. Feeling good. I just know I have to go 1-1 from here. And if I go 1-1, I will have to have a high resistance to make it to top cut. So my next match is against I'm going to say it's a Ray-Eel deck, but it also had like a Zekrom and some other stuff in it that usually you don't run with Ray-Eels. When it's Ray-Eels, it's mainly just Rayquaza, Electric, and Raikou, and maybe Victini. Victini's really good in that deck, but he had a lot of strange things. So I was very surprised. He started 2 Tynamos. I started a Mewtwo, and he's like, oh, this isn't going to be pretty, but ends up getting set up. I get set up too, and I end up I top deck a catcher to win the game by pulling out his Raikou, and that's pretty much how it was. I didn't really like that guy. He wasn't that very nice. Like when I top decked the catcher, I kind of put it down. He's like, well, which Pokemon? And I was like, really? It's like, I'm going to take the win. Just pull up your Raikou so the game is over. Like, he was in a really bad mood. I don't know. So that makes me 3-1. And now I know if I win or lose, I have a really good shot at getting in with a high resistance at least. And I'm facing another Landorus deck. Well, I get set up, and he just doesn't get anything he needs. I get everything I need, and even then, it comes down to 1 prize apiece. And, well, he has 3 prizes at this point. He's going to take a knockout for sure this turn. And he has so much damage on the field. I just need to knock out one of his bench EXs that have a bunch of damage on it, and I have the catcher in hand. So I have the win. He ends me, I'm screwed. But He does not, or no, I actually have 4 prizes left, honestly. That's what it was. I have 4 prizes left. I have the catcher in hand. The next turn, I could catcher up his Landers that has 90 damage, and his Tornadus has 150, so I can put 30 on the Tornadus with my Night Spear, and I win by taking 4 prizes in the last turn. And he ends up not having an N, and he Juniper, so I know I have the win now, as long as he doesn't take like an absurd amount of prizes. And he ends up just playing it out, knocks out, gets down to 1 prize, and I have 4 prizes left. I draw my card for turn, just show him the catcher, and he just kind of looks, and he's like, that's disappointing. But I got everything I needed, so I go 4-1, and I top cut. Pretty good for my first cities, I think, in a long time, like since I was a little kid, that I top cut. And I end up getting 5th seed, so with the 5th seed, I play the 4th seed. Don't really remember his name. I think it was like Dale Lynch or something like that. I know his last name was Lynch. End up playing him, and he is playing a Darkrai Hydreigon deck, but he's playing it with Terrakion. Now that's scary for me. Gets the Terrakion out first game and ends up just blowing me away with that 1 Terrakion. I can't really set up or anything. So that was really hard on me, at least, losing my first match in Top Cut. But then I end up next match, he has his Sigilyph prize and his Terrakion prize, and I just blow through him, and I turn 2 Hydreigon that game, turn 2 Night Speared, was just hitting him hard, like off the get-go, and he just had nothing he could do about it. And then the third match of that Top Cut match, I did the same thing. Turn 2 Night Speared, turn 2 Hydreigon, just he could not do anything about it, and he ends up scooping after I take 3 prizes, and he's like, there's no way I can win. Flips over his prizes and has a Sigilyph prized again. So I end up doing pretty well. I'm going on to top 4 now, and going on to top 4, I have to face the #1 seed. His name was Austin Baggs. He's undefeated, hasn't lost 1 match, not even in the top 8 match where it's best 2 out of 3. He just won in the first 2 games, so I'm pretty scared. I know what he's playing because I sat next to him earlier. So he's playing a Landorus deck. Ends up the first game, I'm able to like start a comeback, but he ends up just making it finish and blows me out. I kind of lost that game myself though. I have 3 prizes left. He has 1. And I checked my deck, I have 8 cards. Well, I know in those 8 cards I have an N. I need that N so I can N him to 1. And I know there's a catcher in there. The catcher is going to help me win the game. I Juniper, draw 7, no N. So I'm like, alright, well, I know there's an N left because I checked my discard. I only had 2 in my discard. So I know there's an N either in the 3 prizes or in my deck. So I Juniper, got 7, no N. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's my last card. He ends up playing through to the next turn, draw my card, not an in. So I lose the game by deck out, so I just scoop up right there. I'm like, alright, let's move on to game 2. So we go to game 2. He ends up setting up pretty fast again. I end up starting to make a comeback, and I just can't get anything out again. I can't start anything, and he ends up just deciding, you know what, it's all in right now. If I miss this, I'm probably going to lose the game. So he sends up his I catchered up a Terrakion because Terrakion was scary at this point. I didn't have any more Eviolites. I needed to get this Terrakion out of the way. So I catcher up his Terrakion, put 90, 30 on his Tornadus. So his Tornadus has a lot of damage now. I think it had 120, so I was going to put 30 on it the next turn, and then I would end up being able to catcher out his Landers because I had all my catchers left still, and I'd catcher up his Landers and take 4 prizes for the win. Ends up, I know he has an energy in hand because he plays it on his Terrakion the next turn. His Terrakion has 90 damage at this point, so I'm like, okay, he could hit me for 60, but his other card is an in. He has 1 prize left. He's like, alright, you know what? It's all in right now, in to 1. So he ends himself to 1. In himself to 1. Shuffles his deck, I shuffle my deck. We get it going. Cut his deck, he cuts mine, like any other player would do. draws the energy switch. He has an energy on his Landorus. Energy switch. Switched it up to his active Terrakion and hits me with Land Crush for 90 or for 100 because he had a plus power at 1.2. So he ends up hitting me for 200 on my Darkrai, and I lose the match. But he was a really good guy. I really liked him. It was fun talking to him. He was really nice, pretty cool guy. So I ended up getting 3rd place though. Out of that tournament, the top 2 decks were Tornadus, Landorus, Mewtwo. Austin Bags ended up winning it, undefeated, didn't lose one game, not even in the top cut. 2nd place was Brad Curcio. He also ran a Tornadus, Mewtwo, Landorus. 3rd place was myself. I got Darkrai, Hydreigon. And 4th place was a guy named Jimmy Ramirez. Met him during my top 8 match. He sat next to me, talked to him for a while afterwards. And he was running a strange deck, and it was a Darkrai Mewtwo Electric deck. And it was really good. I liked it. I looked at his deck list after the tournament, and it was pretty good. He ended up getting 4th. I got 3rd. And it was a really nice tournament. I got 4 packs off of it. I can show you the code cards. I already opened them. And I've already redeemed these code cards, but I just still had them sitting around so I could show you guys. Here's my code cards. Already redeemed, so don't even ask for them. So yeah, I got 4 packs off of my 3rd place, and out of those 4 packs, I also got this Landorus Full Art. Yes, got it, and it is just so nice and beautiful. But there's one problem. I just bought a Landorus Full Art, and it comes into the mail today. Yeah. I was pretty upset about it. But that's okay. I have 2 Landorus Full Art. I only need 3 Landorus total, and I have my 2 other regular Landorus. So I plan on probably either selling it on eBay. I'm actually kind of looking at the card because it looks like there was like damage to it, but it was like straight out of the pack. So I'm either going to sell this on eBay, or it's up for trade as well. But for trade, it'd be a lot because that card is worth like $60 right now. So you'd have to probably give me a lot of cards for that. Especially, it'd have to be all from my wants list too, and I will only do equal pricing. So yeah, that's it for my city championship thread. I'm not gonna put a there wasn't a beginning thing. Just make it faster to upload to YouTube, honestly. But yeah, thanks you guys for watching. Check out my wants list. It's in the description below. It's on my blog. Add me on Skype. Add me on PTCGO. We can play together and whatnot. I'll put my Twitter down there so you guys can follow me. It's the easiest way to keep up with what I'm doing in the Pokemon world at the time. So it's really cool. So yeah, thanks for watching, you guys. And until next time, see ya.